Straight from the approach.
Not happening.
A bowling conversation. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Right. Good morning, everyone.
League Roundup time.
League Roundup time.
Here we
It's
go.
been a very interesting week.
It's been a great week. I think we are both pretty pumped for this League Roundup. I'm buzzing.
I'm
buzzing.
pumped. I'm ready. This week in League at Star Bowl has been crazy.
It's been a good week. It has been a very good week. Some close matches on Monday. You're still top despite your 6-2 loss.
Just about.
Despite your 6-2 loss.
Do you know the worst thing is as well? Last week, you may remember I said that Jim is going to rock my world again this week. And he did.
Guess what Jim did?
He did. He rocked my world
Jim
again.
beat you 6-2.
Jim Blythe, man. Like, I don't know if you watched this, but...
Everyone's got Man United always had Everton they could never beat.
Yeah.
Shay has got Jim Blythe.
Jim Blythe, man. 65-year-old Jim Blythe whoops me every single time I play him. I just can't beat him.
And legs it off the approach for his high five.
Oh, mate,
absolutely
honestly,
love it.
Love the guy.
Great to see. But you are still top. You have still got a 7-point lead with a game in hand over third and fourth. So you're still prime position. But Alex and Nick are chasing you down. They are 7 points behind, but they've got their match last week that'll be playing early tonight. So they'll be back on level playing next week. So they've got that chance to go a point ahead, but you've still got that game that needs to be made up. So fingers crossed you stay there. Who knows? Jumbo doing good things again. Jumbo into fourth with the Brooklyn Badgers in third on 165 and 155 points. Beers, Babes and Bowling are in fifth. And Dirty Hookers round out the top six. Angelfish are in seventh. Steve and Val,
they've been doing
up
bits.
to seventh.
Like, shout out to Steve this week, who shot a 184.
Yeah.
And because he's got quite a high handicap, that was a 260 game.
It was,
mental.
Yeah, it was an easy win, that game for him. Yeah. When you can get all those things right in one game, it's a big thing. And they have got a few games in hand. Whether they make them up or not, who knows? They've got those games there if they want them. JBs are at the bottom at the minute, just holding up the pack, but unfortunately, obviously, with Julie being injured, Nadine Pierce has now joined Jim, so they have a full team. So Jim doesn't need to use the blind or any subs anymore. So they've got a good team. So maybe they'll climb back up over the next few weeks.
And shout out to Nadine. She's not bowled in weeks, and then she came back and bowled. Yeah, she came back and bowled
she's been
really,
injured
really
herself
well.
with a bad shoulder and a bad back. So it's great to see people returning to the league. It's a big testament to the leagues. No massive honour scores this week to shout out or write home about. So that'll pretty much put a wrap on Monday. Keep doing what you're doing. Your and Lucas's averages have gone from, I think, mid 150s last season to 175 and 180. So things are going in the right direction for sure.
Killing it.
Rory's sitting there on a 199, so he can't quite.
I know. But I will say, house shots at Stroud aren't house shots.
No, but they are.
They're not.
No,
they're absolutely not.
No, they are.
Shout out to Richie Teese, who his quote was, "House shots at Stroud, not house shots," and I'll stick with that. They're not.
Look.
It doesn't quite play the same.
They are, right?
All right, so what Mark's pointing out, right, is that him and Simon have both played in this league. Mark, over 6 games, has played a 231 average, which is criminal, and Si has a 212 average. Yeah, all right, whatever. Ridiculous. How long have you been bowling, Mark?
Too long.
There you go.
25 years.
There you go.
Long time.
But I think the exciting thing that we're both kind of excited to talk about is
we'll move on to Thursdays.
Right, so Thursday has been the craziest few weeks of my life.
Thursday's been, we'll start with Division 2. So, talk it through. Here we go.
I was here last week, you may remember, and I told you that this was my house.
You just said this was your week as well.
And this was my week.
You had 2 matches coming up.
I had Hillary.
How did those 2 matches go?
And Tony Alves, and I beat Hillary 10-0. Smashed it, 7-8.
Big match considering how well she's been playing.
Yeah, so Hillary's average, she actually has 2nd highest series, 3rd highest average, 4th highest game, and she's been bowling out of her skin
bowling really well,
which is really nice to see.
And consistent.
Really nice to see. But I did turn up. I'm not going to lie. Against Hillary. 245 first game on Cheetah, which is mental. And then bowled a 196 average, 195 average overall. So I did really, really well, which was good. Took the 10 points there. And then I played Tony Alves after, shot a 244 first game, 1 pin under.
Let's just go with, what's the high game in Division 2?
246.
And your 2 games were 245 and 244. That is hard cheese.
hard graft, I'm not going to lie. And I worked for them. I really worked for them. Just couldn't, break that thing. So I now have taken high series and high average for Division 2. I am clear at the top by 5 points on Gary Baker. But me and Gary both have a game in hand over third place Lynn Gamage. So Lynn has 36 points won.
Lynn and Gary this week was a really, really good match. It was interesting. It's an interesting match. I was on that pair this week. Interesting match. Neither were particularly happy with how they were doing. But it was a big, big match. I think Gary took the win 6-4 in the end.
He did.
But that was a big, big match for second and third. This early in the season, every one of those matches counts. Tensions
are high. When the points matter this much and the table is this close.
It's just such a big competition. It's like a competition tournament every week, especially this early in the season. We've only bowled 6 weeks, and it's out of 45. It's early doors. It doesn't really matter what's going on at this point of the season, but then it will do because this is the tougher of the 3 patterns we've got. Yep. We've got Cheetah, then I believe we've got Viper, then we've got Scorpion. Yep. Those two aren't going to be, I don't think, they're going to be as difficult as Cheetah. Cheetah is really separating sort of men from the boys at the moment. And this pattern could define where people finish in the league.
Yeah,
if they have a bad start to the year with the first 15 weeks, this could really, really sum up their season.
It's really hard, If you look, I'm looking through the table now. There's, our shout out to Mikey Shortman. Mikey, he's got a lot of games in hand to play. He's got 3 games to play. To catch up on, and he is sitting on 21 points. He's only lost 9, so they could be some huge. Lost 8? I've lost 6.
6. So he could be thrusted up to second. There.
He could be thrusted up to second if he plays his 3 back matches and dominates. Mikey Shortman, who is a great bowler, could definitely be in the top contention this year, which is fantastic to see. But there are a lot of makeup matches to play. Dan Pearce has only played 4 games.
Yeah, he's got to come back from his injury as well. He seems to do much better.
Adam Ninja has played 16, so he's got 2 weeks to catch up on. Sandra Church has only played 8, so she's got quite a lot of matches to play. So the table can absolutely flip at any point. But, when you're talking about high averages, with me being a high average of 178, it's tough. It's tough out here, So
that has gone up by 3 or 4 pins from last week. Not just yours, but the average,
the
high average in general.
Pins.
The high average in general has gone up a long way. So that takes, that takes a lot of doing in 1 week.
Yeah, so I did well at my skin, which was great. And, we're sitting top of the table. So it's all to play for.
Both leagues you're in.
It is. And
impressive.
I have Gary Baker as my back match, which is something.
Yeah.
Because that is either going to make or break me.
Could be the top 2 in. It could be playoff or not. Or promotion, sorry.
I am very excited to play Gary Baker, whether he knows it or not. And
he'll know it.
Just because
he'll try and give it back.
I have a lot of respect for Gary, I do. I like the way he bowls. He's quite straight, a little bit of twing on the end, but I think it's going to be a fantastic game. It's going to be experience versus pizzazz, and I just can't wait.
It'll be good.
So let's talk about the more important division.
Let's talk about Division 1. We like a bit of Division 1.
We do.
But things have gone better this week.
But for you, most definitely.
Definitely for me.
Most definitely.
Most definitely for me. I managed to finally figure out what on earth I was doing and pull a good series out of the bag. Rory, again, did the same.
8-11.
Rory just isn't stopping at the minute. Rory had 8-11, but I managed to put him back in his box this week. I came out with an 8.89 this week, 267 game 2. I managed to find that line, grind it out on my own, and I was left alone on the right-hand side of the lane, and managed to pull my average up from, I think, 185 or 186 to a 195 over 4 weeks I played. And I went from 8th to 6th, but again, got a game or 2 in hand over a couple of positions. So Rory is just top still, with Vincenzo second, tied on points with Kim Johnson, who Vinny has a game in hand over Kim and Rory, which if he wins 10-0, he will go top.
Wow.
Believe it or not. So, Graham's in 4th at the minute with 33, but a game in hand. Nicky Danowski on 32, with another game in hand. I've got 28, but 2 games in hand. Could be, but then those people are going to have to play each other. So that's all to play for in Division 1. Same as Division 2. There's nowhere to hide. Simon's down in 9th.
Which is mental.
He's just bought his Black Hammer, though, so he's going to be he's fine now. I'm happy with him down there because he's going to win a few 10-0s, I think, over the coming weeks. And then he'll just, all of a sudden...
Yeah, I think the week that Mark and Rory play each other, I will sit out just to sit and commentate on the absolutely cracking game it's going to be. That's going to be my favourite week, I think. I think there's going to be some really big games to come out of Division 1.
There will be.
So, looking at the score sheet here, I think... Kim versus Rory is going to be an amazing week.
That'll be interesting.
Vinny's already played Rory, and Rory's also played Sai. So I think there's going to be some really good games coming up soon.
Exactly, and Rory's played Dave as well. I managed to get an 8-2 against Dave this week. I just can't get that 10-0. Everyone's getting that one game off me. Paul Crippen 2 weeks ago took the last game. Can't get that 10-0.
Cheeky big
daddy. Can't get it. Everyone.
Not messing around. But there is some differences in here between Division 1 and 2. So looking at your high series, Mark is on an 889 high series, which is 105 pins above the high series in Division 2, which does set the men from the boys a little bit. And the high average...
That's only this week. Before this week, it was not a lot of difference.
No, if we slot Division 2 into Division 1, it would go Division 1, Division 1, Division 2, Division 1. So there is a little bit of a mix in there.
There is a gap.
But the high averages, there'd only be one person in the top 5 in Division 2.
And that's why we have divisions.
Yeah, there's clearly
it makes it inclusive. It means we can have 32 people bowl on a night in 2 divisions instead of, people feeling a bit hard done by or necessarily out of their depth. Everybody's got something to play for.
But there is something we need to talk about.
What's that?
The return of Danielle.
The return of Danielle.
So Danielle has only played 2 weeks, eight games she's played.
I think, yeah.
And she has lost 1 game. So she's lost 2 points.
She's there.
She's won 18. And Danielle is back. She's been on holiday.
Yeah, she's going to be back this week.
And I'm very excited for Danielle to come back because I think she's going to put a real spanner in the works.
She'll because she's because she's only played two matches. She's down there, and everyone's thinking, or not even thinking.
We're not even bringing her name
Danielle
up
anymore. She was top after week 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And now it's a case of no one's seeing where she is because she is down in where she's
currently 12th.
12th at the minute. But then a couple of 8-2s and 6-4s. She'll be there.
She's up there
because she has only lost those 2 points off 1 week.
So I think there's some good games coming up. Rory Danielle, Rory Mark, Rory Kim, Mark Danielle. I think there's some huge games coming up.
That'll be good fun.
So it's all to play for. So I think over the next few weeks we're going to have some really exciting league roundups for you.
Interesting.
You can see us smiling just talking about it because we look forward to Thursdays.
We did.
Yeah,
we had
really
a good
week. So, shout out to Rory and Mark, now the only 2 people on Cheetah to have an over 800 series, which is absolutely monumental. So congratulations
the next goal is to get to that 200 average. That needs to be the next thing.
Well, 5 more pins. So you shoot some big averages over the next few weeks.
70 start for the first week. It's a lot to drag back, but when we can drag 89 of those back in 1 week,
if I shoot a 1200 series, I think I might be at that 200 average as well. But we got a little bit of way to come. But Mondays and Thursdays at the moment, they're really picking up. The competition is really good. The bowling's getting better.
Well.
The vibes are incredible.
Really, really good fun.
So,
we've got the streaming going, so we're getting good content out of it all. It's just good fun.
So if you're ever thinking about what to do with your Mondays and Thursday nights and you're in Stroud and you're in the local area and you want to watch some bowling,
pop in and say hi.
We've got some really good games coming up soon. Do you know who you're playing this week?
I have no idea.
But that's the beauty of it.
That's it. I try and rock up and feel sorry for whoever I've got to play.
Well,
on a good week. On a good week.
Thank you so much to all of our bowlers for making sure that the competition stays fierce and that everyone's always having a good time. And we will see you next week.
We will see you next week of League Roundup. Thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.